Welcome to Parent Academy, Soaring with Sight Words with Ms. Robbins and Ms. Watson. Today we're going to talk about why sight words are important for your child to learn this school year, how they can directly impact their ability to comprehend and read fluently. So what are sight words? Words that are not easily decoded. They do not follow a spelling pattern, and vowels do not usually follow the vowel rules. Sight words are frequently occurring within texts, passages, books, magazine articles. We see sight words every day. Sight words will be assessed this year in multiple modalities. Students will first be given a pre-assessment, and after we give that pre-assessment, students will get an assigned list that is on their instructional level. The words will be leveled and tiered for first grade. Students will read words, they'll read phrases, and then they will have tests in which they come up and read the words to us. The first semester, we're going to do it bi-weekly. That means that every other week your child will have a list to master, and we have included with their sight word booklet in their trot binder a chart that shows you which week we will be testing. If a student fails the list, which means they do not pass with at least an 80% accuracy, then the following week they'll have an opportunity to retest on that same list. And then after, when we hit the second semester, which will be after Christmas, each student will be given 10 words per week. That way we can cover 200 words this school year. This will be 100 points out of their overall reading grade for the year. Now, students can test when they are ready, or they can test on the due date. So let's say your child's due date is August the 31st to test on their list. If they're ready to test on August the 29th, then they'll come up to their teacher and tell them that they're ready. And sometime throughout that day, the teacher will assess them on their sight words. But the grade will not be recorded until the grading assigned date. So, for example, if your child tests on August the 29th, that grade won't go in until after the 31st. Fluency is very important in first grade. Fluency is the ability to read a passage using inflection and tone correctly, but also comprehending what you read. Now, we have set some benchmarks in first grade for fluency development, and this is with all of our students hitting the benchmark of 50 words per minute by the end of the year. Sight words will help to improve fluency because if students can recognize words by sight and quickly without having to decode those words, then they can read a passage more fluently and comprehend what they read. So each quarter, students will be given 2 fluency assessments. We will do them every 4 weeks, and the students will come up to the teacher's table and orally read aloud a passage. And after week 4, beginning with week 8, students will be given comprehension questions to answer after they've read the passage. So your child will be graded out of how many words per minute they read correctly. So let's say week 4, we have 10 words per minute as the benchmark. If your child reads 15 words per minute, then your child will be given a 100. But if your child only reads 8 out of the 10 words correctly, then they will score an 80%. So they have to hit the benchmark of 10 words per minute in order to get full credit. Okay, so there are a lot of fun ways to study sight words with your child. We leave this up to you, and trying to help you, we have come up with some ideas. So you can take chalk and write your words outside and play hopscotch. Ask your kids to jump on the words. You can put a different letter on the Legos and build the words and take them apart. You can write the words with white crayon and then paint over them with watercolors, or paint your words with regular paint. You can do bubble writing of the words where you make them look like bubbles and color them in. You can write your words and put them on Post-its all around your house, and then your child can go around and high-five the word as they read the word. Another fun game is hide-and-seek words, where you hide your words throughout your house, and your child goes, finds the word, brings it back to you. If they read it correctly, they get a point. Or if they don't read it correctly, you re-hide it. You can give them a book and ask them to find sight words within the book and then write them down or highlight them or point to them. Circle them. You can do that with magazines, newspaper articles. And you can also take your words and write them on a list, put them in the car, and then way while you're driving down the road, you can ask your child to read the list to you. Or you can do flashcards in the car. There are all kinds of fun ways to study your sight words, so please let us know if you need any more ideas. Okay, so in first grade, we have several assessments, and sight words are very important in our assessments because they're going to see the sight words as they're reading. So the first assessment we have in first grade is a spelling assessment. Each week, students will be given a set of 10 words that they will study. Now, these words follow any pattern that we have covered in Saxon so far at that point in the year. We'll also call out 2 additional words that the students do not get to study. It's just words that they will apply. So, for example, if this week we are studying the letter sounds C, short A, and T, then the teacher may call out the word fat or mat, and then the student, or cat, the student would then write the word correctly on the line. Those are not bonus points. They're application words that they do count in the grade. Sight words, we covered how students will be assessed in their sight words, and so students will have their own individual list, but we do have benchmarks set. So by the end of first quarter, students will have taken around 3 sight word tests, and by the end of the first semester, 8 lists will be assessed. Then by the end of the year, we will have covered 200 words. So if you have any questions about sight word grades or spelling grades, please contact your teacher for clarification. We also have comprehension tests in first grade. There are 2 types of comprehension tests. So the first is that students get a grade level passage each week that they can easily read and decode at that point in the school year. So as the year progresses, the complexity of the text will also progress. Students will then answer some multiple choice questions and fill in sentences. They'll have open-ended questions as we go throughout the year. And then we have what we call a literacy analysis test. Now, this is a type of test that will be where a teacher will read aloud a complex passage or a book and then ask the students to compare and contrast characters, character experiences, retell the story, talk about the theme. And so oftentimes the literary analysis is not something that every child could read that book or that passage independently, but we're testing their oral comprehension and their ability to comprehend something more complex than what they can read. Students will also receive grades on essays that we write throughout the year. So when we finish our guidebook unit, students will be given a culminating writing task. This will be teacher guided at the beginning of the year. And as we progress, by the end of the year, it will be independent, but the teacher will be there to support the student in their writing goals. And each student will be graded on a rubric. And then finally, we have our fluency. So each quarter, students will be given 2 fluency passages to read and hit that benchmark. And like I said in a previous slide, students will read those orally and then answer the comprehension questions. And that wraps up first grade sight words and ELA assessments. Please contact your teacher if you have any questions regarding your child's grade. We look forward to working with you this year.